Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the legislature all the way through the end of the session. On the program today, State Senator Bob Coffin. Then we'll have a debate between Alfredo Alonso and Scott Craigie on an upcoming bill. And then Bob Crowell will join Ray Hagar and myself for an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, water resources come from fresh, clean groundwater, approved by state permits. The water is pumped from wells to million-gallon storage tanks and then distributed to TRI companies. Another amenity is our investment in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plant. This disposal system converts waste to clean water for industrial applications. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
Coverage of Nevada Newsmakers from the state legislature in Carson City is brought to you by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is a special edition of Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we were supposed to have State Senator John Lee on the program, but believe it or not, at this late date, he is snowed in up at Lake Tahoe and was not able to make it, so we appreciate State Senator Bob Coffin filling in at the last moment.
Who is always a summertime kind of guy, so he's...
And you want to, are you awake yet? That's the first question.
I'm
we
barely
take very
awake,
early.
And I left summer to come back to winter, and it's appropriate.
It is unbelievable. All right, let's start out. You're working on today is National Guard funding?
Yes, I have a bill that I've been pushing all year, actually two bills. One to give an award, a medal. Nevada has never given a unique state medal to anyone, and I propose that all members of the Guard and Reserve who were called up since September 11 be given this award in recognition of their service. But just to show you that we better put our money where our mouth is when we come to supporting troops, I also have Senate Bill 355, which would provide a bonus for troops and their families for their service, depending on where they served. If they serve in a conflict of theater of conflict, well, then they'll get more per month than if they served in Fort Irwin, California. But regardless, it's a heck of an inconvenience. It's terrible drain on a family and their resources. So I feel like money is the best thing we can do for them.
What kind of dough are we talking about?
We're talking about $250 a month per month of service. If you were in the States or outside the theater of war, you could be in Wiesbaden, Germany and qualify for $250 a month because you're not in harm's way. Although you would be getting more in a theater of war, let's say in Afghanistan, Pakistan's border region with there, Iraq, Kuwait, and a couple of other stands in the north which have some risk involved. And that's $500 a month there.
Excuse me, Bob. What's the fiscal impact overall for the state for the taxpayers on this bill?
If the whole amount passes, it would be about $20 million.
$20 million. Do you think that'll go through? It seems to be now we're fighting for every nickel and dime, all the different entities.
Well, I'm going to push for every nickel and dime of this appropriation.
I just thought of something. You could get that $20 million from the $23 million that you took from the university budget because of enrollments projections have gone down. Is that correct?
Well, you could say that, except that for one thing is wrong, and I didn't support that reduction. I think it's a mistake. I am predicting that money will be restored to the budget.
Okay.
Was that just politics?
Well, I think it's the confusion brought about by the joint subcommittee system. You've taken full committees, which used to operate individually quite well, and you've segmented them too much. So you have assemblymen and senators, not only in political points of view that are different, but houses that have different points of view. So you end up with just 2 or 3 members of each house deciding what should be budgeted. We get back together, I think the Finance Committee will restore that cut.
Okay.
You know, Chancellor Rogers, who I always like to point out is the owner of the television stations upon which this program is broadcast, was looking for a much higher amount than even the governor budgeted. Do you think he's going to get anything beyond what was in the governor's budget?
Well, it depends on how strong people feel about this. The Senate has traditionally been a strong defender of the university system because it doesn't depend on property tax or sales tax appropriation directly. It has to depend on the will of the Senate and the Assembly to really directly appropriate. And the schools have that. The K-12 schools, who are the direct competitor for funds, have the other local sources of money.
Bob, one thing I thought was kind of historic in a way is that the Joint Money Committee voted to give $6 million over the biennium to UNLV and the University of Nevada for athletic scholarships, fee waivers. And should taxpayers be funding athletic scholarships at our 2 universities?
Yes.
And why do you say that?
Because it is a way to help provide this education without taking away the money from other parts of the institution. These waivers were fought for many years. They're outside the appropriation, essentially, that is for, if you will, direct education. But I consider the athletics programs to be very important. In fact, I would support it for the community colleges as well.
Well, that's one thing that I thought the rub was you give it to these athletes at UNLV and the University of Nevada, but you denied the same waivers to the athletes at Western Nevada Community College and College of Southern Nevada, which College of Southern Nevada won the 2003 National Junior College Baseball Championship. It would seem perhaps they should be rewarded in some way.
Well, I wouldn't call it a reward to the university. I would call it a reward to the community in which these colleges serve. I mean, I think it's important to remember, and we weren't talking about a lot of money for those community colleges either.
No, we weren't. Less than $1 million.
Right, and I supported that, again. Now, I didn't win my fights in the original subcommittee, but I intend to press, and I think the majority of the committee will support those.
So the battle's not over yet?
Oh, no. In fact, we're in the last month of the session, therefore the session has started again. It's a lot like the playoffs.
Okay, and
Good.
Last question here is the governor going to get his rebate to the full amount?
He'll get something, and I don't know what. It depends, because so many needs have surfaced since the governor wrote his budget. I can't predict what it would be.
Needs or wants?
Needs or wants?
Yeah, you said so many needs.
Well,
but
you have
needs or wants?
We have to balance the needs and wants of the public as well. You know, we are part of the public. Would the public deny the Guard and Reserve people who were called up to active duty from their families and jobs? Would they really deny that? I would take that from the rebate. I think there are other purposes for it too. I don't mind saying that. I know the governor promised this before he knew all the consequences of the mistakes in his budget too. And so I don't know, he's putting a lot of pressure on the legislature. It's a typical game between a governor and a legislature, but we stand equally with him. I believe politically the governor is winning the battle of bringing this rebate back in some fashion. But what hasn't been told to the public is how difficult it will be to engineer it. And the fact is that a lot of people that paid the taxes aren't going to get it if you use the automobile registration. I wouldn't deny it. I'm not going to categorically say money wouldn't be coming back somehow.
Okay, and we thank you so much for helping us out. State Senator Bob Coffin. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers with a very interesting debate right after this.
videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we welcome to the program Scott Craigie with Alrus Consulting and Alfredo Alonso with Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins.
Well, in a state known for its growth of business, there's a bill in the legislature that could torpedo the plans of a major California company coming to the Reno Tahoe Industrial Park. That company is Franklin Rectifiers, and let's take it from here. You are...
Actually, I want to do one thing before we start. Just want to mention off the top that one of our sponsors of our program is the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, and so just want to get that out of the way.
Okay. Alfredo, you represent Franklin Rectifiers, is that correct?
No, Scott.
Okay.
Scott.
Sorry.
That's all right.
All right. And,
okay.
Actually, I wouldn't mind adding Alfredo to the team. Anytime he's ready,
you of
I'm
course
ready to go.
represent Southern Wine and Spirits.
And the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
Right. Now, this thing was all set up, apparently.
You know, Franklin has been in the state doing its look for a location here for about 2.5 years, and we've got correspondence that they've had with the Department of Taxation going back well into 2003 as they started their due diligence. They've gone through this whole process, and now at the last minute, actually one of the very last BDRs that was requested, last minute BDR, one of the last 5 actually, is this bill AB 553, which is, it's like a sniper shot. I mean, it hits one company and drops them dead. And if that bill passes, not only is this huge project dead, but I think that it creates an enormous black eye for those people in Nevada that want to diversify the economy and want to attract, on an economic development basis, more manufacturers and these large companies that do work throughout the western United States.
Okay, Alfredo, what's the objection?
Well,
there's a law already on the books.
The law already says Franklin can't do what Mr. Craigie would like to see them do.
What exactly is that?
The law, as it sits right now, says you have a 3-tier system for the distribution of alcohol. You have your suppliers, which, if you look at the statute, a rectifier is a supplier.
And what is that? What is
a rectifier is essentially someone who imports ingredients, mixes them together, bottles them, and sells them as alcohol. What Franklin wants to do is they want to take 2 tiers, something no one else does. And I want to make it clear that there is absolutely no intent to keep Franklin from the state of Nevada. They're welcome here. In fact, I'd love to have them as part of the association. The problem is,
If they take 2 tiers, they're violating the law, and that is, again, something that we just simply can't afford in this state.
Okay.
Well, they don't take 2 tiers. One of the things that's a problem is the way the law is written right now. If a company comes into the state as a rectifier, it's not clearly addressed. And that part I will say, that deals with what Alfredo's talking about is real. At the same time, though, the way the law exists today, it clearly allows Franklin to come in, and we know that because the Department of Taxation has written them and said, yes, you will be able to get these licenses. And if you didn't need to change the statute, there wouldn't be a bill to change the statute brought by the opponents. So the bottom line here is that this bill kills this company's ability to move here, and it actually does. And it'll be my burden at the hearing on Thursday to demonstrate exactly where in that bill this company is destroyed, and it's there.
Okay, Scott, let's bring the viewers up to speed on this. This bill has already passed the Assembly.
Right.
And it's going to Senate Commerce, is that correct?
No, it's going to Senate Taxation.
Senate Taxation, okay, and it's Thursday.
And I'd like to make it clear that the bill licenses rectifiers. It treats them like a supplier, which is already in the law. Again, this is not an issue of saying, Franklin, we don't want you in the state. Absolutely. I think it's great. I think they ought to come into the state, but they want to act as a supplier, and then they want to sell their own wares. From a standpoint of collecting those taxes in the public good, you can't tell. You could never be able to audit how much was made by Franklin and ultimately sold by Franklin. That is the purpose of the 3-tier system. It is very important that obviously the state is able to collect those taxes while protecting the consumer. What they want to do is simply illegal as it is, and this bill, all it does is license them as a rectifier. And again, I'd love to see them come here. They can be a rectifier. They can supply the state with liquor. That's great. If they don't want to do that, they'd be welcome as an importer. That's fine as well. They simply can't do both.
You know, one of the amazing things about the way that the law is written, it's really probably a good thing that this came up when it did, because frankly, the way licensing happens is a company has to come in and build the facility, have the facility entirely set up and ready to run, and then they go to the state to get it licensed. If they had put that $15 to $20 million that they're ready to put into the ground in Nevada, and they've spent the 2 years in due diligence looking for the right place, they saw a lot of industrial parks that they really like. Can you imagine what will happen, or what would have happened either way, now or if it had been done after this facility had been built? If we'd have had a person invest $15 or $20 million and built what would essentially become a white elephant out there because it couldn't get licensed because of a bill that passes that changes it, or now a bill that passes to change the law to outlaw them after all these years of due diligence, we will severely set back the economic development and diversification efforts of the state if this bill goes through and cuts off this country.
I have to disagree. I have to disagree completely. Story County is doing an outstanding job of luring good companies coming. You got Walmart, you have others coming in. In fact, we were the first to bring in Calcan. So I think Story County is doing an amazing job. The Gazette-Journal yesterday indicated that they're booming, and I think that's absolutely true, and I think that's wonderful for them. However, you cannot simply justify bringing in an out-of-state company to do something illegal in the state of Nevada that will hurt local businesses. Again, these are wholesalers that have been in the state 2 and 3 generations. And if they, I'd love to have our wholesalers become both a wholesaler and a retailer. Let us take 2 tiers. I can guarantee you we corner the market. The point of the 3-tier system is to separate those out so that you have fairness at every tier.
But this bill declares them a first-tier person for
they
the
are a
first
time. They make liquor. They make liquor.
This is a
Don't
great
they just mix the ingredients?
What's the difference between that and making it from scratch? Essentially, you are taking liquor and you are acting as a supplier.
We're out of time in this segment. We're going to have you guys come back on the Pundit panel here in just a couple of moments. Senator Townsend was on the program a week or so ago, and he said that perhaps in the interim it's time to take a look at the 3-tier system and maybe make some changes there. So it'll be interesting to follow this through. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, joining Alfredo and Scott, we have Bob Crowell with the Crowell Group.
Good morning.
I want to start out with a very serious topic right off the bat. I don't know what we're doing here in Nevada at the legislature, but we're obviously not dealing with the really important bills. When the news comes out that the Texas House bans suggestive cheerleading. What do you make of that? Do these guys have too much time on their hands?
Clearly. That's just silly. I mean, I read the article as well, and I
made the front page of a New York Times.
I really don't know what to say about it. I mean, there are so many important issues going on right now, both nationally, and I'm sure Texas has some of the same problems Nevada does. So it just seems a little silly to be spending your time on a subject like that.
It is silly, but on the other hand, cheerleading is meant to be suggestive in one way. It's suggestive to get team spirit up.
Scott?
Actually,
there's nowhere I can go that wouldn't cause me trouble.
All the activities that are going on in education, one of the really healthy things, though, is that we still do in Nevada and a lot of other states talk seriously about academics, talk seriously about No Child Left Behind, what's doing to school districts, talk about funding. I mean, how much more serious a time could Nevada have spent on education than they did this session? I mean, they have been very focused, and the issues have been very real.
Well, bringing it back to reality, is Senator Coffin right that the money is going to be restored for the university as we move along the road?
I don't know if he's right or not. One of the problems that I think everybody is trying to cope with right now, and I think everyone's just kind of trying to keep all of their options open right now. I'm not sure that what happened last week wasn't more keeping options open than a final decision about what's going to go on, but they don't know for sure how all of the money that they have right now is going to spread over the needs that they have left open, because they did not get as much money as they expected out of the forum, the economic forum, and I don't think that they have got a sense of where they are on the money committees, guys. You're watching.
I think
where the money's going to go.
I think you're right, and you know what's kind of is interesting and disturbing at the same time is I think looking down the road, I think we're looking at bumping the needs of education, both higher education and K-12, against the needs for a refund, and I think there's going to be a big issue about that. And frankly, I'm on the education side, and my own personal druthers would say, if you're going to if it's a choice between refunding and education wins that debate.
Alfredo?
Well, I think the problem is that it's very simple. We don't have as much money as we thought, and I think that obviously the balance of all those needs, whether you're on the education side or on the side of refunding money to the public, I think is going to be the dilemma in the last 4 weeks. Whether that $20 million goes back is going to depend on obviously what the pot looks like at the end of the day.
So I have a sports book question. I'd like to know your guys' opinion. What are the odds we have a special session over this very issue, rebate versus whatever it is that's on the other side for spending it?
And absolutely no special session.
Boy, I would have said that the odds against that are about 0 3 months ago. And the last 2 weeks here, looking at when the Economic Forum reported out, I'd say the odds didn't go up to half and half, but they're up.
Well, and once the numbers came out, then over the progression of discussions over the next couple of days, it seems like both sides, the governor and some of the leaders in the legislature, have gotten more hardened in their positions. I don't know if it turns into a special session or not, but it could happen that way.
I agree. That's always a possibility. But I think there's enough time to focus on these issues, and there aren't any although there are many significant issues, there aren't any bellwether issues that are coming up at the end of the session here. So I think they'll be able to focus on the budget, which is, I think, the most important piece.
Last question here. When the governor was on last week, he raised the issue of other Republicans coming forward to run for governor. Any thoughts on who those people might be?
Well, I think that Bob Beers, is there is at least noise in this building that he's considering putting a organizational committee together to explore his options. I don't know if there are going to be other Republicans or Democrats, but this could be an election cycle for governor and for some of the other statewide offices where there are a number of people that take a look. You've got term limits coming up slowly on people that are in this building, and I wouldn't be surprised if below that spot of governor, you don't see 2 or 3 people that we haven't even thought about that are looking at treasurer or secretary of state or some of these other races.
I agree. I think you've got, obviously you got folks like Phil Satry out there, being discussed over and over again. He has told people he's not interested, but obviously, I think you can have, a Phil Satry type come out of the woodwork at the last minute. I think Scott's absolutely right. You can also have some folks that are here in this building that may not be considering it right now, but that could change in a month.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the lineup's set yet.
And that's where we leave it. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we focus on attracting high-tech companies to Northern Nevada. One vital amenity provided to companies at TRI is a connection to a complete digital fiber network. This gives the ability of unlimited bandwidth and voice services to every business. And what's charged for the installation of this valuable asset? Nothing. Zero. Nada. And that's a pretty good deal. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
On our next Nevada Newsmakers, we'll have the Lieutenant Governor Lorraine Hunt, who's running for governor in '06, and we'll also have George Harris join us on the next Nevada Newsmakers.